The film opens with a thoroughly bizarre family harboring dark secrets, though the mother is easily the strangest of them all. When her daughter Lila reveals that their pet bird has died, the woman callously abandons the creature and immediately makes a descent toward a hidden chamber in the basement. Her husband follows her into the room, visibly terrified of what lies beneath. The underground chamber is shaped like a miniature pyramid featuring a concealed door on its flank. Stepping inside, the couple uncovers an ancient coffin dating back thousands of years. As they pry open the heavy lid, a preserved mummy is revealed inside. The woman immediately begins chanting dark occult mantras, causing the thousands-year-old corpse to suddenly awaken. The moment the mummy stirs, supernatural chaos erupts. The heavy chains and iron hooks binding the coffin violently lash out, snaring the woman's husband as a sacrificial offering.
The story then shifts to introduce a completely different family, centering on a man named Charlie and his young daughter, Katie. Charlie shares a deep bond with Katie, but their peaceful afternoon is shattered when Katie's brother breaks her favorite doll during a homemade science experiment. Upset, Katie runs off to play by herself in the family garden. There, she is approached by the strange woman from the prologue, who introduces herself as Lila's mother. Katie asks where her old playmate Lila has been, and the woman cryptically claims Lila is nearby, coaxing the vulnerable girl over with promises of a magic show and livestock treats. After presenting Katie with baby chicks and snacks, the woman hands her an apple and whispers an ominous apology for the magic she is about to perform. As the woman chants incantations, the apple rots instantly, and a black insect bursts from its flesh. Katie is seized by agonizing pain and faints on the spot, allowing the witch to kidnap her. When Charlie goes to check on his daughter, he finds the garden empty. He rushes to the local market, spotting the woman fleeing with Katie. He gives chase, but an unnatural sudden storm rolls in, causing the abductor and the child to vanish into thin air.
4 agonizing years pass without a trace of Katie, leaving Charlie and his wife locked in perpetual grief. Even the birth of another daughter shortly after the kidnapping fails to fill the void left by their missing child. The mystery deepens when a young boy exploring the edge of a dense forest witnesses a sudden plane crash. Arriving at the wreckage, he finds both pilots dead, but panics and runs deeper into the woods, where he stumbles upon a burial coffin identical to the one seen in the pyramid. The police are notified, and an investigation gets underway. Upon opening the casket, forensic teams discover that it doesn't contain an ancient mummy, but rather a living person wrapped tightly in bandages. As the cloth is cut away, it is revealed to be Katie, who has somehow been kept alive in a state of suspended animation for 4 years. Her parents rush to the hospital, where doctors give a strict warning. Katie's limbs have contorted violently, and her skin has severely deteriorated from years of confinement. Any extreme emotional outburst or negative reaction from her parents could permanently worsen her fragile psychiatric state. Devastated, her mother tearfully embraces her, while Officer Zaki, the detective who spent years obsessively hunting for Katie, is assigned to head up the strange case.
Baffled by Katie's physical molding, Detective Zaki visits Charlie's home to review the evidence. She reveals that the coffin used to imprison Katie is roughly 400 to 500 years old, noting that occult criminals frequently utilize historical antiquities to mask supernatural crimes. Charlie, a skilled journalist with a background in investigative reporting, vows to assist Zaki in hunting down the perpetrators. However, the horror follows the family home. When Katie's grandmother tries to play a comforting game with her, Katie undergoes a violent physical contortion, thrashing and emitting guttural, demonic sounds that force her mother to sedate her with an injection.
the family grows increasingly terrified as Katie's behavior worsens. Later, her medical handlers discover she has vanished from her bed, only to find her hiding in the upper levels of the house. Terrified and exhibiting predatory behavior, Katie spots a large scorpion on the wall, grabs it, and devours it raw. When her panicked parents force her mouth open to extract the venomous creature, Katie vomits up an unnatural, highly toxic green slime. The next day, during a bath, her mother notices that Katie's fingernails have morphed into razor-sharp talons. Attempting to trim them, the sheer force rips the underlying skin entirely from her foot. Strangely, Katie feels no pain, instead experiencing a sickening relief. She breaks free from her wheelchair, attacks her grandmother and mother in the kitchen, and attempts to flee before Charlie restrains her and bandages her self-inflicted wounds.
Realizing her state is volatile, Charlie suggests admitting Katie back to a psychiatric hospital, infuriating his emotionally fragile wife. Desperate for a breakthrough, the mother violently shakes the silent girl, prompting Katie to spit a vile fluid directly into her face. Later that night, a weeping Charlie sits by Katie's bedside to apologize for leaving her alone in the garden 4 years prior, blaming himself for her suffering. Suddenly, Katie breaks her silence by frantically gnashing her teeth in a distinct rhythmic pattern. Charlie recognizes the clicking as Morse code, a skill Katie practiced as a child when she dreamed of being a spy. Translating the code, he uncovers a specific name: Layla Khalil. Charlie alerts Detective Zaki, who cross-references the name through local archives. Charlie searches through old mail received after the abduction, finding a letter from Layla Khalil carrying a distinct chocolate chip residue, the exact candy the witch used to lure Katie. Meanwhile, Katie uses a low, hypnotic voice to call her younger sister Molly into her bedroom. When Molly notices her sister's decaying skin and tries to run, an invisible telekinetic force lifts the toddler and pins her violently against the door.
Simultaneously, Zaki's investigation leads her to an isolated Layla Khalil who owns vast apple orchards in the desert. Recalling that a partially eaten apple was found in the garden on the day of Katie's disappearance, Zaki raids the property. In the center of the orchard stands the abandoned house from the film's opening. Exploring the rotting interior, Zaki uncovers the secret door leading down to the hidden pyramid, which features an occult hybrid architecture blending human skeletons and spider designs bound by heavy iron chains. When she touches the central structure, a bunker opens, revealing the original storage space of the ancient coffin. The moment the vault opens, the witch, who had been away, senses the intrusion and rushes home, launching a knife attack against Zaki. To save her own life, Zaki is forced to shoot and kill the woman. Before she can call for backup, Zaki spots another young girl attempting to flee the compound. Subduing her at gunpoint, Zaki finds a locked box containing a video cassette labeled with Katie's name. When pressed about the true identity of Layla Khalil, the girl confesses that she is Layla and that her mother was the true architect of the cult.
Back at the family home, Katie's grandmother attempts to perform a religious cleansing by reciting holy verses over the girl. Enraged by the prayer, Katie overpowers her, strangles her with her own religious locket, and hurls her through a glass window to her death on the pavement below. While Charlie is distracted by the funeral arrangements, Zaki tries frantically to contact him to deliver the truth. Unable to reach him, Zaki plays the captured videotape. The footage reveals a horrific reality. Lila's mother belonged to an ancient devil-worshipping cult that systematically sacrifices young children to act as fresh vessels for a body-hopping demon, keeping the entity immortal. The video documents the cult forcibly strapping Katie to the ancient mummy, executing a dark spell that transferred the demon's core energy directly into the little girl. Lila, who had tried to stop her mother years ago, had her tongue severed by the cult to keep her silent, forcing her to write out the final details for Zaki. The realization comes too late. Back at the house, Charlie locks Katie's bedroom door multiple times, unaware that the demon has already broken through the floorboards to manifest through little Molly. Possessed by the entity, Molly approaches her grandmother's corpse during the wake and uses a thread to crudely pull the dead woman's teeth out of her skull. When the family catches Molly in the act and subdues her with a taser, the diversion allows Katie to break her restraints. The family rushes to the cellar, only to find Katie inside her grandmother's open coffin, violently chewing on the raw corpse. Horrified, Charlie binds Katie to a heavy chair, sitting directly in front of her to guard her, while his son begins exhibiting the physical symptoms of a half-dead creature. Zaki arrives with the video evidence, causing Charlie's world to shatter as he realizes his daughter's soul is completely gone, replaced by a primordial fiend. Suddenly, Katie breaks free, manifesting her full supernatural power by levitating in the air and launching Zaki down the stairs, knocking the detective unconscious. She flings her mother across the room, but Charlie manages to tackle the floating entity to the floor. Realizing Katie's prepubescent vessel is physically tearing apart under the strain of its raw power, the demon shifts its consciousness directly into Charlie's body. Both Charlie and Katie collapse into unconsciousness. Armed with the cult's translated documentation, the survivors know that the only way to contain a guinea fiend is to lock the possessed host within a consecrated antiquity coffin. They place Charlie's demon-possessed body into the pyramid casket, sealing him away forever. Katie recovers her mind completely, but falls into a deep state of psychological shock, spending her days sitting above the coffin container, talking to her trapped father. A final twist. It is revealed that the witch did not die from Zaki's gunshot wound. She survived and was taken into custody by corrupt prison authorities. Seeking ultimate justice for the families destroyed by the cult, Katie's mother and Zaki transport the witch to an isolated containment block. Terrified, the old woman realizes that they are about to execute the exact same body-binding ritual upon her, sealing the demonic entity within her own flesh to face eternal torment, successfully freeing Charlie's soul as the screen fades to black.